I got the Harley B summer tip of these forever. This is a tip for you guys that are yourself mechanics or you're taking your cars to these slops out on the road. Tara suffered a very bad anomaly with this peanut brittle steel. Not to mention I had to make my own bolts. You can see that in there, my mount. I had to drill it and tap it and to anchor that in there. I had to actually cut the rotor off, and we're going to cut this one off. So it's a tip that when you have a drum or a rotor, you can use that tool that the Aussies don't know what the name of it is, or they call it some, I forget what, Wizzy Waz or whatever the hell they called the angle grinder. That's an angle grinder. And that is a cutting wheel, not a grinding wheel. And that's just some of the tools you might need to do a simple brake job that turns into a nightmare. And remember to coat the back of your new rotor with anti-seize. So that's another fall tip you guys are when you're getting ready your, like I am, four-wheel drives, if you got a couple of them like I do and different things, and you're going to get them ready for the winter. I change oil now. I'm not even going to get to be changing the oil till later. But that's what happens when some window-licking fucktard works on your truck. Then you don't know what they did at the garage, and they charge you astronomical money, and all the bolts are stripped. And this thing should have had brake hoses and rotors a long time ago. And as you can see, I had the very serious tools out on that. I had that sledge, and then I got the big one where the handle was sticking up over here. That's better than messing up your suspension, because of those four-wheel drive, those hubs are $225 a shot. That's just for the part itself for a good one. So you don't want to go pounding on your suspension and knocking shit loose by pounding like a monkey. And even heating that rotor up, this one I had the acetylene torch out before I had the little torch out. That was for just getting the parts loose. Whenever you paint your suspensions and different things, you use a torch to heat it up where it was painted, and then you can get shit apart, nuts and bolts, because if not, it's stuck in there like glue. So that's my tip. And don't take your truck to these places where they just slap shit on and it's real cheap and it's real convenient. You'll find out the next time you go to have it worked on. Most people would scrap a vehicle for less than this. I got a bug trying to eat me, and the freaking thing has teeth. Ow! Anyway, I guess I must be sweet today, or it was all that beer I had last night. I paint things to know that I replace them. I think I brought that up before. A lot of people, I see these kids painting their calipers and different things. Well, a lot of the adults, we don't do it basically for looks, even though it does look nice and fashionable, because I pick on guys for that and they get all pissed off. You know, the funny thing is Uncle Dutch does do that, because I can tell I replaced the part, or I paint something and I have a recollection as to what day and what I used that tool for. That's a T55 Torx. They're a goddamn nightmare. You need one of these black ones, an impact. So there are some tools and some things here. When you get this rotor to the point, I cut it 4 ways, and after it breaks apart, usually the outside of the rotor will break off when you start pounding on it a little bit. Well, what happens is, before you go going nuts and gonzo, I split where I make my cut with a cold chisel. You guys got that? You make 4 cuts. Try not to mess up the thing is, there is a hub behind there, so try not to cut your hub too. Don't be a total wing wang. You know, just know that there's stuff behind there. But once you get that rotor cut through this thick part, and then you get into this a little bit, then you can split it with the cold chisel. You got to work at it a little bit. It ain't easy, but it will come off, and you will get your truck fixed. So thank you for watching my video, and I'm done screaming at PayPal. We haven't made up. I don't forgive. But anyway, that's just it. Summertime tips. Replace brake hoses, rotors, as much stuff as you can, because winter gets here far too quicker than far too quick, and it's quicker than you think when it does come, because one day it just turns cold up here in the Northeast and it stays that way, or it gets miserable. We've had a very miserable rainy summer. This is really an unusual sight, seeing that sun in the video. I'm not used to sunshine. I was starting to feel like a vampire. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video, and don't forget the anti-seize. It's very important on these new vehicles, because they're made out of peanut brittle from GM and Ford for $40,000 and $50,000. You can have one too. Thanks.